All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 245 of This Week Unloaded. I'm your host, Rich White, owner, proprietor, and whatever else of Unloaded Media. My little empire that I'm trying to build. Probably ain't going to go anywhere. You know, it's fun to try. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened this week. So, I gotta finish setting this up. Yeah. Didn't quite have it all the way set up yet. So bear with me a second here. Alright. Alright. I think that's it. I think that's all the only things I forgot to do. Just put the chat window there and the counter up there. And I don't really need the counter on screen. Let you folks know that out there, if you're watching, that there is places where other people are watching. Ignore the one for X because Rumble Studio doesn't actually patch in completely with X, so I have no idea why they put a counter for X because it doesn't give you any information. It just that'll sit there as a zero no matter how many people would join on X. And in the studio where the bigger counter is, it just has a dash next to the X because it's not applicable. It doesn't count over there. It only counts Rumble and YouTube, probably locals. If I had my locals account completely set up and patched into there, which Studio can also broadcast to. We got Mr. DM Foss joining us. How you tonight, sir?
Hubba, hubba, hubba. Who do you love? Who do you love?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. Hopefully my wife, because if not, she'd get mad. And then she'd want to be trying to call a lawyer, and then things get ugly, and it's just, I don't want to go there. Oh, man. So, there's been some stuff going on this week. Did you see what happened in California?
There's lots of stuff that happens in California.
In Palm Springs specifically.
I think so.
Somebody set off a car bomb.
Yeah, they. I'm not sure if they know who they think he is, and I'm not sure if they caught him. So I saw a picture, but I didn't look at the story.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the story since yesterday. Yesterday they didn't have a suspect or anything. But yeah, it happened right outside of a fertility clinic, which is interesting.
Kind of weird.
Mhm. Let's see if I can find an article on that. Suspect in Palm Springs explosion at fertility clinic is said to have died in the blast. Ooh, interesting. Suicide bombing, essentially. Hmm. All right, we got us an article here. I hope this is an article. Yeah. All right. Let me. I hate the way Google does shit now on Chrome. Such a pain in the ass. Then we come over here. There we go. Wasn't letting me go back over to the Rumble Studio tab. I'll share this page here. All right. FBI identifies IVF clinic bomber as pro-mortalist who opposed birth without consent. Targeted attack against the IVF facility, FBI said. Opposed birth without consent. So what? The baby's got to give its consent to be born? What the hell kind
I
of idiocy is that?
have no idea.
But that's the way it's written, right? Like if the baby would have to give consent to be born. Am I reading that right? Or am I, or like, that's a stupid thing to even say. The man authorities say is responsible for bombing a reproductive center in Palm Springs, California, Saturday has been identified as Guy Edward Bartkus. The 25-year-old is from 29 Palms, California, authorities said during a news conference Sunday morning. He is described as a pro-mortalist, the New York Post reported. The car bomb he allegedly set off killed him and injured 4 people. Okay, last I had seen from yesterday was that there was 1 dead and 4 injured. So now they have identified him as being the person who was killed. So good riddance to your
Apparently, he
assholeness.
left a recording that he said that basically he's angry that he exists and nobody got his consent to bring him here. And pro-mortalist is, from his view, is wanting to bring about your own death as soon as possible in order to prevent future suffering.
Uh-huh. So the guy just decided that he was going to take out as many people as he could with him, I guess.
And he was angry that the IVF clinics exist.
Well, if you're against people being born without their consent, I mean, yeah, which is, again, a crazy view to have. Yeah, the article continues, there was no loss of any sensitive material as a result of the bombing at the IVF clinic, an FBI Los Angeles assistant director in charge said, referring to embryos. So not only did he fail to take anybody with him, he failed to do any major damage to the clinic as well. Yeah. Yesterday, a man intent on harming others in our city failed Palm Springs Police Chief Andrew Mills said during the news conference. Palm Springs survived, and we are stronger and more resilient as a result. Looks like he did some exterior damage, but that's about it. That's what they were saying yesterday, too, that there was no major damage to the internal parts of the building. Just basically the reception area, all the labs and everything were still intact and weren't harmed. The bombing has been labeled by authorities as an intentional act of terrorism. While investigators believe they know the timeline of when Bartkus entered Palm Springs, they are asking for the public's help with where he might have gone before the explosion went off. Bartkus was in a silver Ford Fusion with license plate number. Okay. I guess this is so people can, if they saw it, if he didn't do anything to bring attention to himself, how many people are going to pay attention to the car's license plate number? Anyway, license plate number 8HWS848. FBI Los Angeles said in a post on X. The subject had nihilistic ideation. Ackle Davis, assistant director in charge of FBI Los Angeles field office, said, and this was a targeted attack against the IVF facility. Make no mistakes, we are treating this, as I said yesterday, as an intentional act of terrorism. I correct their typo and then make a verbal typo. Anyway, that's what the jackass looked like. Investigators are aware of and are tracking a possible manifesto as part of the investigation. Damn, I can't read. Davis said, this is probably the largest bombing scene that we've had in Southern California, he said. This does eclipse the bombing matter in Aliso Viejo, Davis added, referencing the 2018 attack at a day spa. It's that big. And that's that. That's all there is in that article. So, crazy guy commits act of terrorist could have been the title for this article. But most terrorists are a little bit crazy. Especially if, good.
I was to say, it looks like the pro-mortalist is maybe an offshoot of the negative utilitarian. I found an article from 2012 that I don't know who David Benatar argues that coming into existence is always a harm, and that for all of us unfortunate enough to have come into existence, it would be better that we never come to be. We contend that if one accepts Benatar's argument for the asymmetry between the presence and absence of pleasure and pain and poor quality of life, that one must accept that blankicide is preferable to continued existence. Therefore, it implies on both antinatalism and pro-mortalism.
Interesting. Also interesting, it doesn't look like Rumble Studio is fully incorporating with YouTube this week. Because prior to going live, it didn't have the live stream posted on my page, and it's not showing any of the chat out there. We have people watching on YouTube, even though the counter says there isn't. I just opened up the YouTube chat and it was like, or this over on YouTube, and it's like, hey, look, there's people out there. So yeah, so far I got Chris from the 740s out there, and M. Gabriel, and Foss, but he doesn't count because he's in here.
I count. I matter.
Well, you're on the panel. You don't count for the YouTube
I
chat.
exist, therefore I matter.
Yeah, but you're on the panel.
I exist, therefore I am matter.
Yes, but if you didn't matter, you wouldn't be on the panel. So, yeah. I'm speaking only for counting as part of the YouTube chat, text chat. Anyway, I guess you got any other thoughts on the bombing or?
Nope.
Okay. I really don't either. In other news, Joseph Robinette Biden is apparently dying of prostate cancer.
I saw somebody say something, maybe a couple cancers, like bone cancer and.
Well, they said the prostate cancer has spread to his bones.
No.
Now,
yeah, whatever cancer you get first, that's what they count it as, no matter where it ends up.
Mm-hmm. Now that begs the question. He just left office a couple months ago. The president has to undergo a physical every 6 to 12 months. If the cancer, if it's prostate cancer and it spread to his bones, prostate cancer is not a quick spreader. Prostate cancer is one of the slower moving cancers. How long have they known he had it and just weren't saying anything?
I don't know.
Makes you wonder, though, doesn't it?
So if you're over 40, go to your doctor and get fingered for your own good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's always a smart thing to do. Prostate cancer, if caught early, is very treatable. Most of the people that end up having it state that what they're saying Joe Biden has, it's because they never got checked or they refuse treatment. Which again begs the question of just what is going on with Biden's physicals. Did they catch it and didn't even tell him and just said he was okay to him? I mean, what is the deal here? The whole thing just seems like an ethical mess, no matter what way you slice it. Were they just not wanting to tell the American public? Has it been this bad since they first detected it? Or have they just not been giving him treatments because he refused the treatments? Or did they just not tell him and not even give him the option of getting the treatments? I mean, it's crazy. Without further information, any one of those scenarios could be true. And the way they've been covering shit up, We just don't know, and probably won't. Unless for some reason they decide to release his medical records, which I really don't see them doing. But it's a very odd situation. Very odd. Anyway, over under on Biden surviving the year.
Oh. Yeah, I'd say probably. Because he's going to have the best health care anyone can have.
Yeah, but once cancer gets into the like a prostate cancer gets into your bones, that's pretty much it at that point. You're in deep, deep trouble. Again, that's if the reports on his cancer are even true. I'm not saying he doesn't have cancer, but how bad they're saying it is. It's funny that they come out with the cancer diagnosis when it was announced that he's going to be under investigation for something. I forget what. So, just the timing is convenient if they're trying to drum up sympathy. But,
well, they covered up Reagan's Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. I mean, who was it that? God, his wife pretty much ran everything. Well,
Woodrow
not
Wilson.
Joe Biden. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's not a new thing to happen.
No, it's not like there's not a precedent for it. Yeah, but for those who don't know, the Woodrow Wilson thing is that he reportedly had a stroke when in office, and I forget what year it was into his second term. And from that point on, it's presumed that his wife was actually the one running everything. Because she didn't think that he needed to turn things over to the vice president, and she was worried that if he did turn things over to the vice president, as he should have done for being incapacitated, that his vice president would have put a halt to all his initiatives that he was doing. Like resegregating the military, and after running for re-election on staying out of World War I, getting us promptly into World War I. Did I mention Woodrow Wilson was a devout racist? Before Woodrow Wilson, the military had already been fully integrated, blacks serving alongside whites and all this other positions they could hold. And Woodrow Wilson put a halt to that and resegregated the military because specifically this is Woodrow Wilson's words, not mine. those monkeys can't fight a war. Again, Woodrow Wilson's words, not mine. I'm just the messenger here, folks. I'm not saying that. I don't believe in that. I served in the military alongside many fine black
You're,
people.
you're not saying you don't believe in that?
No,
I
don't. I don't believe in that. I don't believe.
But you said you're not saying you don't believe in that.
Oh, did I misspeak? I meant to say
that's what you just said.
That's not what I meant to say. Oh man, it's been a long day. I meant to say I don't believe in what Woodrow Wilson was saying. Yes. Oh, man. I'm just tripping over my own words left and right when reading an article and now when just talking. But yes, I do not believe that whatsoever. Like I said, I served alongside many fine black people, Mexican people.
You're just going to make it worse.
Puerto Ricans. I know. But yes, many minorities I have served alongside, and they were all fine, decent people. Who were quite capable of waging war if need be. So, Woodrow Wilson was an asshole, to put it mildly. One of the worst presidents this country ever had. Yeah. Teddy Roosevelt's responsible for him getting elected. If Roosevelt wouldn't have ran on the Bull Moose ticket, which was a progressive ticket, by the way, Taft would have won re-election. Patriots after he says, all right, bring on the midget tossing. Oh, yeah, and Wilson sucked donkey butt. Yeah.
A friend of mine did his master's thesis on Grant and Taft. I asked him his opinion on the Teapot Dome scandals, and he thought he wasn't directly involved, but had shady people around him that they were the problem.
Patriot also says, yeah, and his wife was no prize either. Going by Wilson, I would assume. If Taft would have got reelected, would he also still later had been nominated for the Supreme Court? Remember, Taft is the only person to ever serve as president and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Yeah. Patriot's absolutely right. Wilson and FDR were horrendous for America. Going on with FDR. FDR won, reigning on Hoover's incompetence with the Great Depression, but what they don't teach in schools is that the country was starting to recover before that election. And when the the unemployment rate went from, what was it, 30 some percent unemployed down to the teens by the time the election Hoover v. FDR took place. As soon as FDR got in and started implementing his New Deal policies, the unemployment rate shot back up to 30%. So, it might actually have been higher. Anyway, contrary to what they want to teach in public schools and even a lot of universities these days, FDR's policies weren't making anything better. What ultimately stopped the Great Depression in this country. By the way, the Great Depression, you look at European sources and stuff, they just call it the Depression. It didn't get as bad in Europe as it got here. The one place where things got out of control was over in Europe, was the Weimar Republic, aka Germany. And it got real bad inflation wise. They completely devalued their currency over there. They, at one point, they were having to let people out of work early and paying people on the hour so that they could go get groceries before they increased in price again. Because they would increase during the course of a day. That's how bad it got over in the Weimar Republic. And that, getting to that point, is what led ultimately to Hitler's rise to power.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, if only Mean Little Mustache Man was a better painter, and he wouldn't have been able to capitalize on what was going on.
Yeah. Patriot wants to know if you got the 1966 Batman and Robin lunchbox.
I do not have. I've got. I gotta think of what I have. I've got Buck Rogers, and for a kid's lunchbox, that is awesome because it has Princess Ardala on the thermos. I've got. God, I can't even think of what I have. I know I've got the new Mickey Mouse Party because that was actually mine when I was a kid. I managed to hang on to that. I've got Hong Kong Phooey. I've got the Wonders of the Metric System. I thought it was funny, so I bought it. God, I know I've got a few more, and I can't think of what they are right now.
When I was, go ahead.
I might have the not Lost in Space. I know I wanted the Space 1999, and I can't remember if I actually bought it or not. I'm sorry I cut you off.
When I was a kid, I had a Marvel lunchbox that had Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, the Hulk, and a couple other characters on it. And then the thermos had, I think it was She-Hulk was on the thermos. She-Hulk and Scarlet Witch, if I remember right.
I had Thundar the Barbarian.
Thundar was a cool show.
I don't remember, other than that and the new Mickey Mouse Club, I don't remember what other lunchboxes I had.
I think Thundar was the only Saturday morning cartoon at that time that had people actually dying in it.
Well, um, Johnny Quest.
Well, at that point, Johnny Quest was syndicated and would be shown all over. It wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon anymore when Thundar was out.
Well, that's when it was on in our area. It was a Saturday
Yeah,
cartoon, and I think the Thundar was weekday for us, afternoon.
we had it on as part of NBC's Saturday morning cartoon block.
Yeah, Patriot said he was never that lucky. Uh, he would want Jet Jaguar. I I don't know why they never made a Jet Jaguar movie. They set it up in the Godzilla movie like he's almost a separate. He's a separate hero.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own theme song in a Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
They never made a Jet Jaguar movie.
Nope. Justin said he had the Dukes of Hazard lunchbox and thermos. My brother had that one, or one of the Dukes of Hazard ones. His had Daisy Duke on the thermos, and the
I had
Duke
the
boys
stump
in
set.
general. Yeah.
It was kind of like the Evil Knievel, but it was
Mm-hmm.
the General Lee instead.
We had a Matchbox, one of those Matchbox drag race sets.
Yeah.
One was the General Lee, and the other was Roscoe's cop car.
Cute, 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 cute.
And that drag race set pretty much just proved the Dukes of Hazard because Roscoe's car always won. The General Lee never won when we did the drag races. When we would play with the set, it was always Roscoe's car. There were times where the General Lee didn't even get into the catch at the end. You know how they had that big like boxy thing where it would
Yeah.
close down on the cars. There were times the General Lee didn't even make it before that closed down. Patriot says Jet Jaguar was the coolest out of all the Godzilla movies. It means he did like Mecha Godzilla, even if he was a slave to the Atlanteans. In the later Godzilla movies, Mecha Godzilla was a slave to aliens.
There's a Godzilla shop in Tokyo that my wife went to. I don't know, last time she was there, but all she got me was a keychain.
All of that funny. I'm assuming he means food dog, not food dog. Was
Oh,
cool with
yeah,
those
King
tiny.
Caesar.
Yeah.
I've got a
Tiny-
little King Caesar figurine. My wife got me.
Were those the same little women that were with Mothra too?
Well, I think if I remember correctly, there was only one gal who sang to King Caesar, and Mothra was the twins.
Yeah.
Mathura! Ha! Mathura! Ha!
Oh man.
I still love the kaiju movies,
Mm-hmm.
but I watched I forget what it was a YouTube channel that he would do in depth um, history of the different films and just how low budget
Mm-hmm.
and badly made they were.
Yeah. Have you seen Godzilla -1?
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
I liked it. The ending was kind of
Yeah, the ending seemed like it was rushed. Like they were running out of budget and like, how are we going to end this? Patriot says he recorded all of them on VHS off the local channel. So he wore those tapes out. Yeah, we used to, back in the day when WWOR was on, it's like every weekend they had Godzilla movies on that channel. So that was cool. And if they didn't, then USA did on Commander USA's Groovy Movies. It was either Kung Fu movies or a Godzilla movie.
yeah. That's you would either Saturdays would be Godzilla, and I can't remember when Kung Fu Theater was on the weekend too. So it would be Kung Fu
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, there was Kung Fu Theater. Yep, remember that one. Did you ever watch Commander USA's Groovy Movies?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I did. I might be mixing him up with God. There was a kid show, a guy that was an artist and he's teaching kids to draw, and it was Commander something. I might be mixing it up with him.
Yeah, Commander USA was like one of those late night movie shows, but it was on Sunday afternoons, and the guy wore like a superhero outfit. Picture says he always wanted to grow up to own a toy store so he could have Jet Jaguar and three-wheeled water bike.
Commander Mark. Um, that's what it was. The Secret City and Commander Mark. He had a kind of distinct art style. Yeah, well, this was back, would have been early 2000s, right around 99, 2000, in the airport in Japan. Uh, there's this Ultraman clock. Thing was like 2 feet tall. I really wanted it, but it was like $300. I didn't want to spend $300 on a clock.
Patriot says the Imagination Station, and it was Captain somebody, early 80s. He said, man, that he used to watch it every episode. I don't remember that one. I'm not saying I've never seen it, I just don't remember. There's things I know that I've watched and I can't remember any of it. I know I've seen that. I don't remember it. One of those kind of things. Now that one I don't even remember if I've seen it or not, let alone remembering the show it's in and of itself. But back in the 80s, I used to love watching Commander USA and his groovy movies.
Oh, it's the same guy, Mark Kistler.
Oh, it's the same guy?
Well, yeah, it's the same guy that I was talking about.
So he was on two different shows.
Yeah, because one, I just saw a clip of it. Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing, showing kids how to draw.
I had one more thing I wanted to talk about. Now I don't remember what the hell it was. Oh, I know what it was. So I was watching Outlaw. Was it Outlaw? Yeah. Shit. What the hell's his name? Honest Outlaw. I was watching his latest visit earlier. No, it wasn't Midget Tossing Patriot. And he's talking about guns that hit above their weight. In other words, they shoot like guns that are more expensive. And his number one left me scratching my head. He had a Cajun Gunworks modified CZ Shadow 2. Are you really hitting above your weight class if you set the bar for your weight class?
Well, what's he comparing it to?
He compares it to other competition pistols. And it's like, because it's a little bit cheaper than a Staccato, he says it hits above its weight class. The gun is still $1,800 fucking dollars. It's not. And then when you get the whole Cajun Gunworks routine done, you're paying as much as you would have for a cheap Staccato. So I don't get his rationale that the Cajun Gunworks modified Shadow 2 is hitting above its weight class. That's good, Moo, because I can't get super chats yet. But if you really want to send me money, you can do it to PayPal. And where to do that will be scrolling across the screen soon. or you can buy something from one of the affiliates. You know, go to the affiliates page, and I do like the Raven Crest tactical knives. So if somebody wants to go buy a knife on their website, use my link on my affiliates page, and there may be a discount code there too for them.
You could just fill a pillowcase with nickels, and you hit him with it, and yell "Super Chat."
It's hard to do from Michigan to West Virginia, though. Yeah, Raven Crest Tactical. They even got folders too. So if you can't have an out the front automatic knife where you live, you can always get one of their folding knives. I want to ask. I'm probably gonna contact them and see about getting one of those in to do a review on. And we've been joined by Guns and Barbecue.
Evening.
Hello. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Thank God you're here, Barbecue.
You're welcome. I felt a disturbance in the force as boss was alone with Rich. I must save him.
But now he left us alone. That's his fault.
Hot damn.
Can you say channel strike?
Can
Are
you
we
say
live?
mute? I was still listening to you guys. I just had my daughter come ask me a question.
Such a good kid.
I'll be back.
Moo's doing a cop out. He says he has a daughter in college, so nah.
What?
Yeah, about doing a super chat.
Oh.
Yeah. Then he asks Night Strike? Where's Night Strike? Night Strike doesn't watch my show anymore. At least not that I know of. He doesn't watch it live anyway. Pager said his daughter's last day is Thursday, then she's off to University of Michigan. Oh, it's a good thing
Poor fella.
It's a good thing that Jason Stewart's not in here right now. Can you imagine the heart attack he'd be having? Did you say Michigan?
Hopefully she's going on a scholarship.
I think she is. I think he said something about she got a full scholarship or something.
Good.
On one of the shows. He's still out there, so if that's not the case, he can always correct me on that one. But I think that's what he said in another episode. If it wasn't him, it was somebody that said something about their kid getting a full scholarship. I think it was him. I said channel strike, so that's where his mind went. Okay. So Moo says Night Strike, thinking that Night Strike was here and was going to give us a channel strike. Makes sense. Yep, he says she's a nerd, full ride scholarship to be a dentist. Sorry, periodontist.
The hell's a periodontist?
It's a fancy word for dentist.
Lame.
Mm-hmm.
I thought orthodontist was a fancy word for dentist.
Same thing. It's all the same thing.
They specialize in prevention and diagnosis and treatment of periodontal disease. That's gum disease.
So a dentist.
And the placement of dental implants.
So a dentist. All right. Glad we cleared that up. Moo says his daughter just finished up this last semester with a 3.94 GPA. Nice.
She wasn't busy running the mail trucks. She would have been able to get that extra 0.06.
The periodontist requires an extra 3 years of specialized training.
Ooh. So an extra special dentist.
Yes.
How much time is required to become a dentist?
I don't know.
However long it takes you to get your DDS or DMD.
Well, DMDs take more training than a DDS. Or the other way around, I forget which is which. Because one's a orthodontical surgeon, dental surgeon, and the other one's just a dentist.
I thought one was just a handheld video game thing made by Nintendo.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Patriots in 8 years. I'm guessing that's 8 years.
Yeah. It's undergrad plus graduate school. I mean, it's a doctorate degree, and yeah, 8 years sounds about right.
That friend I told you about, his master's thesis, he got his master's at 5. But he worked his ass off. And he's a smart fella.
Moo says NES barbecue. No, see, Moo, what barbecue's joke was based on was the Nintendo DS, which is a handheld console with 2 screens.
Has 2 screens?
Mm-hmm.
No idea.
Yeah, it's got 2. My wife has one somewhere.
I didn't even have a Game Boy growing up, let alone anything else. So
Yeah, she's got the 3DS, which is the one that adds depth to the screen, like a fish tank. When you're playing the game, it looks like you're playing a game in it that's a fish tank. It's got the inward depth. It doesn't come out of the screen. It goes down into it farther, if that makes sense. Moo's like, oh yeah, both kids have a DS. I think one of the screens is a touch screen or something too, because it came with a stylus. He said his son has a Mario version of the 3DS. I know she's got one. Amy's got one. I just don't remember which one she has. I know it's a 3DS, but I don't remember if it was any of the character-specific ones or not. Or just a basic 3DS. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the thing. I think she lent it to our daughter or something. Youngest daughter. Because our youngest was really into the Nintendo games. The older 2 are more PC gamers, our son and oldest daughter.
nerds.
Hey, they get it from me, so I prefer playing video games on PC too.
Well, I mean, since your Wii hockey injury, who can blame you?
Oh hell, they don't even know if that's what caused the injury now or not.
No takebacks.
Saw the arm specialist, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not so sure that's from playing the Wii." Gizzard's here, but he's muted. Hello. Are you there, Gary?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
What?
Did somebody say something? What?
What the heck? What's going on?
I don't know. We've been bullshitting about Godzilla, some news stuff.
There's a new Godzilla?
No, there was Godzilla -1 that came out not that long ago, which was
Gary
pretty
hasn't
good.
seen it.
Yeah, obviously. And also, Patriot's daughter getting a full ride for college at the University of Michigan. She's going for a periodontist doctorate.
Periodontalism.
Yeah. Is that racist? It's toothist. Moose says Godzilla is always nude. Well, you try telling a dinosaur that breathes atomic fire that he has to put clothes on.
Dinosaurs aren't real.
You translated.
Tons of barbecue told me.
That's just what I've heard. Black Cat confirmed it last night.
Mm-hmm. You know, based on what? Just curious. What's
They're just
based?
They're just paper mache figures in a museum.
Yeah.
What about the actual bones that they have in storage in the back?
There are no
All
actual
fake.
bones. They're just rocks.
That somebody dug out of the ground in the shape of a bone.
Moose says Godzilla is so misunderstood.
And you know I'm 100% scientifically correct. That they're not bones, they're rocks.
Yep.
Yeah, what strikes me as funny is there are still people that think that a fossilized bone can have DNA extracted. It's like, do you understand what a fossilized bone is? All the organic matter was replaced by rock. You ain't pulling DNA out of it. You're like, well, you can do it with mammoth tusk. Yeah, and mammoth weren't as far back as what dinosaurs were either.
And they're finding like ones that were just flash frozen essentially.
Yeah.
Well, they were around when people were around.
Mm-hmm.
That too. I mean, dinosaurs were never around. Ask Black Cat. Maybe you should totally send them all this.
The last known mammoths, if I remember correctly, were on a small island off of California where they were finally hunted to extinction. They were little pygmy mammoths, which is an oxymoron if you think about what pygmy means and mammoth means.
Say, are most of the gals in California that big? I guess I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize they had a bunch of Amish women out there.
Mm-mm.
All hairy like that.
Okay, Moose says he has a rock that has DNA.
Well, did he deposit his DNA on it?
And maybe.
Probably.
Was it a sexy rock?
Is Rock his wife's nickname?
Was the rock deposited in him? Is it a rock or a stone?
Is it a rock or a hard place?
I'm kind of curious if it's a stone now, because I
Is
almost feel like Moo will pop on here and be like, "Check out this kidney stone that I passed."
is Moo having Dwayne Johnson over to his house as a guest at Hotel Moo?
Don't know.
He says it's a monolith.
What does getting his initial embroidered in it have anything to do with anything?
I don't know. G-Web says mammoths are a myth. Except for the frozen ones that they've dug out of Siberia.
Well, they're a semi-popular band.
Yeah, Mammoth is a band. Yeah.
Or the Utah hockey team.
Yeah. There's also a Mastodon, which is a band. Which a mastodon is essentially a smaller version of a mammoth. They're all just hairy elephants. Mastodons, mammoths.
Pachyderms.
Yeah.
Should make my own rock band called Hairy Elephant.
That's
It
the
honestly
thing
doesn't
with
sound like a bad band name.
it might already be one.
Probably.
That's the thing with band names is trying to come up with something original that somebody else hasn't already come up with.
If you're going to be a bar band, you got to call it free beer. Because I tell you what, you put that on, handouts and flyers and shit, you're going to have a big crowd there.
Mm. Yeah, but they might then riot.
Well, Free Beer is the opener and Riot's the closer.
Mm-hmm. But is it a quiet riot?
No.
Oh.
Not anymore.
There's
Depends
a
on your mental
cover
health.
band called Big Hairy Elephant.
What's that?
There's a Mastodon cover band called Big Hairy Elephant.
Why am I not surprised? Moo also added Aura stalagmite. Stalagmite, isn't that the bugs that they would have in German prisoner of war camps?
Oh. That's horrible.
Yes, but you laughed. Oh, God. Moo says Boomer listens. He just needs to do a blind listen to Cage the Elephant. Ain't no rest for the wicked. God, I hate that song.
Can't be any worse than clowns.
Oh, it's not good. Of course, I wasn't the biggest fan of the song you played today either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What was today's song? I didn't get a notification.
Yeah,
Adam
well,
Calhoun.
yeah. I thought it was going to be a cover of the Led Zeppelin song Ramble On, but no, it was some rap country song thing. It's like, I'm not liking this. I did watch the whole video, though.
I'm going to have to find an Ice Ice Baby cover for you, Rich.
Oh,
I know
God,
you'll
no.
watch that. I'm going to dedicate it to you.
I feel like you should just do Ice Ice Baby. Oh, a Ninja Rap.
Ninja Rap was better than Ice Ice Baby. Mainly because while he's singing it, you have Shredder fighting the turtles.
Yes.
And then Super Shredder, played by who? You should know this, Barbecue.
I was trying to remember. Shit, was it? Tell me.
Kevin Nash.
That's what I thought. I was gonna say
Yeah.
Diesel, but I couldn't remember 100%. And I was like, I'm gonna say Diesel. I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but nope. Should have gone with my gut.
Yeah, well, that was before he was Diesel. That was back when he was in WCW the first time. When he was
Oh
Vinny
yeah, it would have
Vegas.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else is going on today?
Let's say, what movie was The Undertaker in?
He's been in a couple different movies.
With Hulk Hogan.
He was in a movie with Hogan?
Yep.
Joe Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. And about how convenient it is that, they announce he's got prostate cancer and it's gone to his bones a day or two after it was announced that he's being investigated for something. Not that I'm saying he doesn't. It's just awful convenient that they announce it now.
You saying he's dying on purpose? That seems kind
What a dick.
of extreme.
I mean, not
No.
Rich. I mean, that he's dying on purpose.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Rich is a dick.
How did
it's
it
in the
get?
name. I mean, Richard.
Well, like I was saying to Foss earlier when we were talking about it. Let's look at this logically, okay? The president has to have a complete physical exam every 6 to 12 months. They couldn't discover this before it went to his bones? Prostate cancer is not a very fast-moving cancer. Hell, Don Imus, after his diagnosis, survived an entire decade or more before, and he wasn't taking any kind of treatments for it because he refused to have chemo or radiation therapy.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out that way, though. I think Frank Zappa went pretty fast.
Yeah, but that was how long ago, too? Modern treatment methods, most people who die from prostate cancer is either because they caught it late, like what they're saying they did with Biden, which, considering the physical examination the president has to have by law, I don't know if I buy it or not. Or it's somebody that's refused treatment, like Don Imus refusing to have treatment for it. I don't know. It just seems weird. That they didn't, the reports, they didn't catch it until after he was out of office. And he's only been out of office for a few months now. It hasn't been that long.
Oh, they couldn't do anything because he had COVID.
Yeah, that son of a bitch always had COVID. Wonder if he's had COVID since he's been out of the White House.
By the way, the answer to the movie that featured Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker, Suburban Commando.
That's what I was thinking. But then,
Undertaker played one of the bounty hunters.
yeah, got sidetracked by something else and forgot to answer the question.
It's okay.
Patriots asking, wasn't that the same time they were midget tossing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's say the other bounty hunter was another wrestler, and I can't remember who the heck it was. I think it was, yeah, I can't fucking remember.
Yeah, I can always look it up and find out. Give me a second.
A lot of dead air going on there.
There is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
This is why you're not at 500 subs.
Yeah.
You have a bracket. I hear some channels do this.
No, I don't have a bracket.
Just be careful of the people investigating brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, American Honky Tonk Bracket Association. Bunch of sons of bitches.
Yeah, I'm going through the cast. I don't see anybody that looks like a professional wrestler besides
Well,
Undertaker and Hogan. Anyway.
a lot of people wouldn't recognize Undertaker, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the other bounty hunter. I just can't think of who the hell it was.
Dog the bounty hunter?
Yep.
Okay.
That was such a good South Park series when they did the hallway monitor.
Respect my authority. Yeah, the only one that's being listed under a wrestler name is The Undertaker.
I'll have to look it up later. I can't look it up right now because if I do, it will boot me.
The boot. It's a boot time.
Oh,
Defense Dad's out there.
huh?
Defense Dad is out there.
Oh, hi.
Being all defensive.
Yeah, according to Google, the only two professional wrestlers that were in Suburban Commando rather, were Hogan and The Undertaker.
The other bounty hunter looks like a wrestler, but he's an actor.
Yeah.
Tony Longo.
He was on a lot of stuff back in the day.
Longo sounds like a porn star. Just saying.
IMDb gives Suburban Commando 4.6 out of 10 stars. I didn't think it was that good.
Wow. Oh wait, you said out of 10. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh no, Christopher Lloyd was pretty awesome in it. I was frozen today.
Vanessa Kitty out there. Evening to you.
Just watched Three Ninjas with my kids a little bit ago. It's pretty freaking great still.
I watched Frozen with my daughter today.
But that was fun.
Yeah, it still sucks. I saw it in the theater when it came out with my son. He wanted to see it. And I hated it from the start. Tried to sleep through it. Couldn't get to sleep.
Yeah, Run 2A Matters just popped in, so evening to you as well.
Good evening.
What the hell did I watch today? I watched a bunch of YouTube shit. I watched a Ron Wayne video, a Gizzard Gary, well, no, a Boomer Listens video, a Honest Outlaw video, where I still don't get his rationale that the Cajun Gunworks Shadow 2 is hitting above its weight class. It's an expensive competition pistol. It's shooting right where it's supposed to. It's not shooting above the weight class. It's setting the bar for that weight class.
Did he buy it or was it sent to him?
The way he was talking, he bought it and then sent it out to Cajun Gunworks to have the work done on it.
Did he pay them to do the work on it?
That's what he said. So, but he says that about a lot of his guns, that he actually goes out and buys them. Very rarely does he say that the gun was actually sent to him for the purpose of a review. And the ones that he said that's happened with most of the time are something that he's had to send back to the company, or is one of the guns that he raffles off. Kind of like how you do with the knives as a giveaway on your show for members. So yeah, if you're not a member of Gizzard Gary and you want a chance to win one of the cool knives that he's reviewed in the past, become a member on his channel and then watch the Wednesday night members only chat.
That's where all the fun happens.
Mm-hmm. I got a couple of them members only knives.
That's where we get down and dirty.
No, that's in the after chats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Foss is all happy now because AI knows who he is finally.
Waiting for my camera to turn on. These
He's
are
a
both.
real boy.
Yeah, these are both Gizzard Gary giveaway knives.
Are those the ones you're giving away tonight?
No, I'm not giving them away.
Oh, cool.
He's never giving anything away. He's never hitting 500.
Hey, I've given away stuff before on the channel already, barbecue, so yeah, including knives.
But have you done that since you were like, when I hit 500?
Yeah, I just did back on Christmas Eve of
Well, that
2024.
doesn't count. That was Christmas Eve. Doesn't count.
Gave 2 knives away that night.
Doesn't count.
Sure it does.
No, special occasion.
It's a giveaway. A giveaway's a giveaway.
Special occasion. Nope. Boss just did one for Shits and Giggles. See the difference? Yep.
I don't have the money to give away something on.
He turned off
every
his camera
episode.
because he's flipping me off right now.
Vince
No.
Dad had to watch Gilmore Girls.
What?
What?
Said Vince Dad watched Gilmore Girls with
Yeah, I
his daughter.
see he said that.
I can't laugh too much. I've watched it with my daughter before. That's why I'm laughing, because I know what I had to watch.
I know what it is, but I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched an episode of it.
I don't even think my daughters know what it is. So fortunately, I have not had to watch it, nor have I ever watched it.
No, my daughters know what it is, but they were more into like the Arrowverse and like Smallville and stuff like that. So, yeah, they would rather watch the superhero shows than Gilmore Girls or anything else that CW had, for that matter. They didn't have very much that was good.
So how long has this thing been live?
An hour and a half. And Defense Dad says, "Hey, she's a teenager, and we spend time together, so it's a win."
Careful about announcing stuff like that, Defense Dad. There could be a weirdo or two lurking out there.
You never know when Seven Wonders is going to show up. Yeah. But again, if you want a nice knife, but you have to pay for it, go to my affiliates link and click on the Ravencrest Tactical link. And there's a coupon code for them too. There. So I forget how much it's for.
And this awkward plug brought to you by Ravencrest Tactical.
I think it's either 15 or 20% off. I forget which.
Made in America.
Made in partially. Made in America of Chinese parts.
Assembled in
assembled.
America.
Same difference. You
Oh.
get the idea. Because they can't import automatic knives. They have to assemble them here because of silly federal laws.
Well, if they make all the parts here.
Yeah, they can import the parts like the blade and the grip and all that stuff, but they can't actually put it together in China and ship it here. It has to be brought here and then put together.
I think Microtech makes all their blades in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Microtech's cost twice as much as what a Ravencrest Tactical does too.
Just twice?
Uh-huh.
Well,
the one I showed is $170 knife. So you multiply that by 2, you're getting $340. So yeah, it's
$170 for Chinesium.
mm-hmm.
They can gargle both my nuts.
Well, it's not Chinesium. It's aluminum and steel.
Manufactured in China.
They closed down all those steel mills in Pittsburgh just so they could make steel in China.
Mm-hmm.
There's still 1 or 2 that operate up in Pittsburgh.
Handcrafted by Chinese children.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, kids, everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Mm-hmm. Defense Dad said him and his daughter were going to go on a photo walk, but it's storming. Yeah, we're supposed to get that again starting tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's supposed to rain, and then, ironically enough, Tuesday again, it's supposed to frickin' be thunderstorms with hard rain. So I'm waiting to see if we flood again on 2 consecutive Tuesdays.
Don't forget to take your Ravencrest. $170 knife. To be able to use it as a paddle.
I couldn't take it when we had to evacuate last week because we evacuated to Maryland, and these things aren't legal to carry in Maryland, or it's like in concealed position anyway. But
no, don't be a pussy.
Don't know how I would carry
concealed
this.
Means concealed.
Let's see.
Open carry. Unless you have your Maryland concealed carry permit, you can't conceal carry this, but you can open carry it.
They can't stop you from doing it.
No, but they can throw you in jail if they catch
when you come across the border?
You were a refugee at that point.
You don't have to live like a refugee.
You're seeking asylum.
Mm-hmm. I may or may not have been carrying a handgun. I'm not gonna confirm.
Oh, so we couldn't conceal the knife or anything.
Nope.
I see where your priorities are now. Okay.
Yep. Because
what kind of handgun?
What one I may or may not have been carrying? It's a type of SIG. But this is the knife I carried into Maryland, which this is the knife I've been carrying to Maryland if we gotta go to Maryland.
That's Chinese.
Yeah, it's Chinese. It was $109. Probably the cheapest knife that we has under their name. Some of those Wii's, man, they get expensive.
It's an American knife. It's a Microtech.
Because they love America.
I don't
and like
have a
Rich White.
Microtech.
Born in the USA.
You know, that's an
Springsteen
anti-American
sucks.
song. Yeah, that's an anti-American song, which is funny
Are you
because
calling
Reagan used
Microtech anti-American now? Oh,
no,
my.
Born in the USA is.
What about banned in the USA?
Or living in the USA.
Banned on the run.
Surfing in the USA?
This is an American-made knife.
Yeah, you would choose that
Benchmade,
one.
They hate 2A.
Yeah.
Shut up, Gary. You got many Benchmates. You got more Benchmates than
Gary
I
Not in front
do.
of the
Bartone, his
camera,
boss.
I don't. That's
You-
why I
you-
got the Microtech out.
2 things in a row. Rich is like, look, here's my Chinesium, and here's my knife by a company that cracks guns.
Man. Let's
This
dual
is
wield
US made.
Microtechs. Here we go.
This is a U.S. made knife.
Microtech.
I have no idea what you're showing.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
It's a Hogue. It's technically a multi-tool because it's a knife and a bottle opener. With the knife being automatic.
I mean, now they make toe thongs that are multi-tools because they put bottle openers on them. So I feel like a Chinesium lover like you would probably wear those.
This isn't Chinese. This is American.
Who needs a
Talking about your
bottle
Raven
opener to
Crest.
open a bottle anyway?
Especially
Back
when you've
in
got
my
a knife.
day, we used to take a beer bottle and stick them in a car door and open them that way. Just
It's
use
kinda
the
hard
lock
to do that.
mechanism.
What about
kinda-
using the edge of the counter?
You could do that too.
Be a man, use your teeth.
I was literally about to say that.
Oh, I've done that with twist offs. I'm not
Pussy.
going to do that. I'm not going to do that with a non-twist off cap, though.
Real man would. Real American would.
Uh-huh.
Real American would fight for the rights of every man.
You'd fight for his right to party.
You know what sucks about automatic knives? If they break, you cannot send it directly to the manufacturer to have it repaired. Found that out with this little bastard when the spring broke in it.
If the spring breaks in, it's no longer an automatic knife.
Yeah, you can't convince.
Think about it.
Yeah, I know. It became a button flipper. I pushed a button in and flip it open.
I feel like a real American that's not a pussy would just fix it himself and not send it back.
I'm not trying to fix an automatic knife. Do you know how complicated the internals on these damn things can be?
It's not fair, mother.
Nope.
I got one I bought that came with an extra set of springs.
I wish this one would have.
So easy a chicken can do it.
That's right. And I could see your Chinese knife and let's raise it with a German. A Boker.
This one's a SOG.
How small is that knife, Gary?
Oh, it's
Oh, it's right this little
let's see, let's compare it to the Microtech. It's the size of a USB drive, basically. It's called the Boker USB, if that tells you anything. That size of a flash drive, the bigger ones back in the day.
For stabbing computers.
I like that. It's for IT guys to carry, you know.
Sounds accurate.
Mhm.
Gotta protect yourself.
Gary could carry that knife to work and just tell them if they saw him, like, what do you got there? Oh, it's just in that SD
I ain't
drive.
got no badge. I can't go to work.
Not
I
when
don't
you
have
were
a.
working.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's
He did
2.5
say
years ago.
Yeah.
badge as in Bravo, right?
Yes.
Thank God.
I don't remember if this knife was made in the U.S. or not. This little saw here. Because they do make some other stuff in China and other places. Particularly them.
China.
Yeah, it says China on the blade. Never really paid attention.
More Chinesium for Rich White. If only you had a katana or something. You have something Japanese worth having.
I do. It's upstairs.
Not here. Why does Gary get
You're
to
gonna
stay on the
cause.
screen?
It's gonna cause seizures.
Because he was having his camera on. To be on screen, you got to turn your camera on.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah. They're supposed to be working on that, but they haven't changed it
I
yet.
really don't care about being on the screen.
No, I'm just saying they reportedly they are supposed to be trying to fix it where our icons or avatars will actually be on the screen like with StreamYard, like how StreamYard does it. They haven't implemented that yet. Even though we have them going across the bottom of the studio here, where viewers can't actually see where that is. But yeah, on the little actual window that the video is showing all you folks out there, yeah, it won't show up unless you have your camera on. Which you can get around by using OBS to put your logo on the screen, setting that up as your camera virtually. You could then have whatever you want on the screen.
I have no idea what OBS is, let alone how to use it.
It's not too hard. It's easy to figure it out. It's basically a tool for streaming. Lets you do different effects and stuff. That's how Foss does his pictures where they talk and everything. Where it looks like when he's talking, their mouths are moving and stuff.
I thought it was magic all this time.
Thought it was Filmora.
The fence dad says he doesn't care for out the front knives. The OCD side is annoyed they aren't centered in the handle. Well, it's because they got to fit the springs and stuff in there. So it's got to be offset because of that. where the springs are and stuff.
You know, that sounds awful. Or not centered as in just front
They're
to
not.
back, not side to side.
Yeah, they're what he's talking about. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but if you look where the blade is, it's off to
Yep. Nope.
the side a little bit instead of the slot being directly in the center, because on the side here is where all your like springs and stuff that actuate the knife are located. So they have to have where the knife actually goes down the other side of it so that you can retract the knife all the way. Otherwise, your knife would be hitting the springs and stuff. That's why they do
But
it that way.
they're so complicated. We can't work on it ourselves.
Oh, these springs are a pain in the ass to replace in here. But yeah. You can see there how the slot for the blade is off to the side a little bit. It's not completely centered. That's why.
I would like to fuck with you right now and say that be like, oh yeah, but I honestly I can't see it. So, but
Yes.
I appreciate it.
That's what I thought. I didn't think you would be able to see it that well, but I tried to give you a visual. But you can always go back and replay and full screen it. And maybe you'll be able to.
The Rumble won't let me switch cameras.
So gay.
Huh.
This is why nobody likes Rumble.
When I came in, I set it the way I wanted it, but for some reason, when you added me, it switched my microphone and switched my camera.
I didn't actually add you because I had it set where you didn't need to have me add you.
Oh, well, when I was added, it changed it for some reason.
Well, it won't let me change back from OBS. Oh, this is great. I can't switch back to my webcam.
The Rumble is pretty much
showing now. Okay.
Two guys in a shed. They're doing the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
Better than two girls in a cup. Yep, just went there.
What does? Now I'm curious. It says AMD Privacy View camera. What the fuck is that?
Oh God, no.
Nothing. It's nothing. It's a
You got
black
a camera on
screen.
your private? Is that what I heard?
That's what I was worried about.
Yes. No, it does nothing. There's nothing there.
No private?
Wonder what my camera.
Well, that's not surprising with him.
What the hell?
Yep, there's a no private sign right there.
It obviously is detecting my phone because it's plugged in to the computer, but it's not showing the camera like it says it's supposed to unless I got to turn the camera on. Let me see.
I think that sign means no Android.
I don't know. It's just not doing it. I don't know. It's lying to me. Because it shows my S24 Ultra as a Windows virtual camera, but it ain't doing shit. So I don't know.
Mine only works if I plug it in on a USB cable.
Yeah, it is plugged in on a USB cable, so I'm trying to figure out why it's not working. Oh. Who knows?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Fence Dad says barbecue. Basically, it looks like the handle on one side of the blade is 2 to 3 times as thick as the other side. Yeah, depending on whether
okay.
you have.
So the front to back instead of side to side. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the slide mechanism's on the big half.
Mm-hmm. And how thick it is depends on if it's aluminum scales or like tungsten scales. Like tungsten ones will be thicker.
What for solid
Or
gold?
not tungsten, zinc rather.
Yeah, I was gonna say tungsten. That'd be heavy as hell.
Mm-hmm. Well, the zinc ones are heavier.
Like it's remarkable how small tungsten fishing weights are compared to lead.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I use now. The tungsten.
Yeah, because Foss loves the environment. He's a good person.
Or Washington State just mandates it.
That could be that too.
No, it's not lead, and they're smaller.
A shit ton smaller. It's
Yeah.
incredible how much smaller tungsten weights are.
Mm-hmm. But here's a zinc one. You might actually be able to see the thing better because it's not black and black.
Yeah,
You might be able to see that slot better.
contrasting colors usually help.
Yeah. You see that? But can you see that one?
I've seen a lot of slots in my day, but still having trouble seeing this one.
Okay. But you can see that this knife is thicker than the other one.
I
If
don't
you look
have
at
to
the
see it to find it. I can find a slot with the
Yeah.
lights out.
yeah, but if you look at the two knives, just the grip width, the little zinc one is thicker than the aluminum one. Like this one would be the 3 times. Actually, that could be 4 times as thick. Possible.
Thick as a
Whereas
brick.
this one's only twice.
Easiest way to find the slots, just lick the rim. Don't press the button though until you're ready.
But yeah.
Are you searching for starfish?
Ooh, what? What is he in that? Why did my camera just turn back on? Fuck. Anyway. This one also weighs about twice what this one weighs. And this one is clearly smaller. It's the grip weight. The zinc ones weigh a lot more than what the aluminum ones do. Like if this had zinc grips, it would weigh about 3 times as much as what it actually does. This one's super light. And super grippy because of the texturing that they put on it. It almost looks like a tire tread pattern. When you're looking at it in person, I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but it's got like a tire tread pattern on it.
Yeah, but those treads aren't very deep, so it's about time to get new tires.
What she said. Like, sweetheart, I can't get a new one. This is what I'm stuck with.
Don't ask, don't tell. I don't know how this new knife got here.
Oh,
Somebody sent it to me.
oh, speaking of people sending stuff, remember how I told you that Core Essentials was going to send me one of their watches for review? Well, they decided that they're changing their corporate policy, and unless you got watch reviews on your channel already, they ain't sending anybody any.
But they promised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
Well,
did.
I mean, it's core. They suck anyways.
Just tell them if somebody don't send me a watch, how am I supposed to have a watch review on my channel?
I
You
know.
got
You're the
watches.
first
Just
one.
review them.
You can't buy this watch anymore. What's the point in reviewing it?
So that you have a watch review.
Yeah.
No, they probably want more than one.
Well, do more than one.
You got a watch on? Review it real quick.
This is a good watch, but you can't buy it anymore. So.
Rich, winners create solutions. Losers create excuses.
But no, this at one time was the official watch of the Royal Navy. The official dive
Oh,
watch
wow.
of the Royal Navy.
More anti-American shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the only reason why Casio Citizen was still making it when I bought it was because it was being used by the Royal Navy at the time.
That's all good information that we could go on a video.
Mm-hmm. I've thought about it.
It could get you over 500 subs, but Rich doesn't want to give away the knives.
I don't got enough knives to give any of them away. I'm not Gary. I don't have a bazillion knives.
Did he not say he had knives to give away once he hit 500 subs?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But not
Mhm.
enough where I could do a giveaway every week. So.
That's not what I'm saying. You could just finally hit that 500 mark to give those away.
Yeah.
You got to start small. You can't build up to Gizzard Gary status overnight. Let's be real.
Well,
Gizzard Gary is
there are ways, but they're not ethical. Just ask some other people we know.
Gizzard Gary is to knives what Such is to firearms.
2 thumbs up, way up.
Sex doll.
You should do that in your next knife review.
This is not a sex doll, Defense Dad. This is a squishmallow that is an owl named Oswald. Personally, I thought Oswald, if his name was Oswald, he should have been a penguin. But,
You should have a Carcano.
doesn't have a Carcano, but penguin, and then he could have been a Batman villain.
Penguins
Does it
aren't
come with a
yellow.
book depository?
Thought he just had an umbrella.
Well, the penguin's umbrella contained any number of different things. It could have a blade that came out the end, be a gun, be
Not
a
if he's in Maryland.
penguin. Don't care. He's a criminal. He doesn't obey the law.
But there's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And keep in mind the penguin's in New York because Gotham is another version of New York City.
New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Get a rope.
I had a buddy one time try to tell me Gotham City was Chicago. I was like, tell me you don't know DC's geography without telling me you don't know DC's geography. I had to get
Gotham's in DC.
No, he said it was in Chicago.
Well, Chicago's not in DC.
No,
Neither is New York.
DC Comics.
Why are we talking about Dan Cook?
He sucks.
Anyway, I went and got one of my comics that had a map of the U.S. in the DC universe, and had to show him on the map where Gotham City is located, because Gotham City, Metropolis, and New York form a triangle.
Metropolis is in Illinois because I've driven by it several times.
Yeah, it's not the same place. Even though they claim that they are the home of Superman.
They got a Daily Planet. Don't tell me.
Mhm. Yeah, but in DC Comics, New York City is basically like New York City here in the real world. In other words, a shithole. Then you have Gotham, which is the dark underbelly of New York City, which makes it even more of a shithole than New York City. Then Metropolis is supposed to be everything good about New York City.
So Gotham is Brooklyn, basically, or Harlem.
Hell's Kitchen.
That's a restaurant.
It's
Does
also
that
a
make
neighborhood.
Catwoman Jenny from the Block?
No, she would be Selena from the block.
Selena Williams.
No, Selena Kyle.
You call her a cow?
Kyle.
What I heard.
Kyle.
He definitely said cow.
Kyle's mom is a bitch.
Make that bit.
Yeah.
Biggest bitch in the whole wide world.
Mm-hmm. You know, having to put up with his mother, is it any wonder that Cartman's a fucking Nazi? God, she is a control freak and a half. She got to control,
Oh no, she's
micromanage everything.
the original Karen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was Karen Carpenter.
Carpenters weren't bad.
Not Cartman's mom was not a control freak.
No, Kyle's mother.
No.
You say
No, Cartman's mom was before.
No, I said considering who we were talking about, is it any wonder that Cartman is a Nazi? You know, referencing Kyle's mother there. And the way she treats Cartman all the time. Of course, there are times when Cartman deserves it too. Like when he kills another kid's parents and turns them into chili.
No, that was all Scott Tenorman's doing. He had that coming.
I don't think selling a kid your pubes and then whatnot and then ripping them off is worthy of having your parents killed and turned into chili.
Well, you've obviously never bought anybody else's pubes, have you?
No, I haven't.
Let's see. We should go back and watch the show and count how many times we said pussy on it.
God. Probably about as much as they have on South Park.
You should put in the description for anybody that watches this in post that every time they hear the word hear the word pussy, they have to take a shot.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if you could be held liable for them getting alcohol poisoning. I feel like you could be.
Okay, going back to the whole thing when we were talking about tungsten fishing weights, G-Web says they are basically THC gummies for robots. So if you want robots walking around all high, keep sprinkling them across the environment. Oh boy.
Sounds right.
Yeah. It would definitely make your robot heavier. What if the robots have nanomachines that take the tungsten, smaller robots, nanomachines, nanobots, that take the tungsten, break it down, and then make it part of the robot's exoskeleton for armoring? Maybe that's why the Terminators were so dangerous.
What if tungsten weights are just robot shit? Kind of like rabbit pellets?
Probably more closer to Nibbler shit, from
That's true.
Futurama. Yeah.
But he shits dark matter.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, now we're like, yeah, there's this thing called dark energy, which I'm kind of curious if Futurama would have just made Nibbler shit dark energy, which would have made more sense for powering the ship.
Uh-huh. That's what they did. They used it for fuel for the ship because that's what the ship ran on.
Yeah, but they just use dark matter, which they're then taking matter and converting it into energy, which makes sense because that's what we do. But, like, if Nibbler could have just shipped pure energy, that would have been far more efficient.
Yeah, but it would have been harder to contain.
Yeah, but I feel like Nibbler shitting dark matter would probably be pretty hard to contain in itself, so...
Oh, no, you got G-Webs.
How many people do you still have watching this?
I don't know. The counter's not working. G-Web says, LOL, then at DM Foss was touching robot poop.
What I do on my own time is my business.
Man's got to have a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
There's people out there that collect dinosaur shit.
There's people out there that make quote-unquote art out of poop. So...
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Uh-huh. Well, it's like the one bitch that decided that putting a statue of Jesus in a jar and then peeing in it was art.
It's a pretty good trick. She was able to pee in a jar.
Mm-hmm. Well, she used a funnel.
Probably just had her own dick.
Let's see. I just refreshed the YouTube page and it says there's 5 watching right now.
Wow. You folks are true American heroes.
Uh-huh. I usually get
American hero.
I usually get most of my views in replays, especially on Rumble. I'll have like 1 or 2 watch on Rumble, then I go back a day or 2 later, and there's over 100 views on the thing. So
I met most of my wives in traffic jams.
Something women like about a pickup man.
and
right.
not traffic jellies.
You set my truck on fire, roll it down a hill.
Still wouldn't trade it for a Coupe de Ville.
Got an 8-foot bed, never has to be made.
Or for trucks, they wouldn't have tailgates.
That's right.
What the hell was the name of that Cadillac truck that they don't make anymore? It was like a
Escapade.
convertible. Huh?
Escapade.
Is that what it was?
I have no idea. Sounded good though, since they had the Escalade.
The Chevy was the Avalanche, I think.
Yep.
Because they did Chevy and Cadillac, and they were like convertible where you could open up the back of the cab and have more space to put shit.
It was an
Yeah, but
Escalade
Chevy
pickup.
What?
What?
Escalade pickup. Oh
And
no,
Chevy,
that's the electric one they're making now.
and Chevy actually had a pickup that was a convertible.
Yeah. So did Cadillac.
Yeah,
Not like the Avalanche, but like it turned into a legit convertible.
Turned into a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chevy also had the Love pickup at one time.
so it went either way, is what you're saying.
I think that's called an El Camino.
What?
Goes both ways.
Any which way but loose.
Clyde, right turn.
Oh, according to the Google, Cadillac still makes the Escalade pickup.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
Never seen one anymore. So I thought they discontinued them.
Oh, when regular pickups cost $55,000, who wants to pay more for a damn Cadillac?
55. You're talking base model, Gary.
Yeah.
You see how much an F-250 with a diesel in it costs these days? Diesel alone costs you $12,000 to $20,000.
I'm not Rich White, baby.
I just watch a lot of truck reviews and stuff. Freaking
should watch some watch reviews.
The Power Stroke turbo diesel in the Ford F-250 is, depending on which size, $12,000 to $20,000 option just for the engine. You can easily spend over $100,000 on a pickup truck. And there's more availability now of the 5.0 Coyotes and the F-150s. I guess there was enough of demand for it that they are releasing more of them now.
Did you have your rag top down so your hair could blow?
What, in an F-150?
No, in your 5.0.
Never had one.
Girlie's on standby, waiting just to drive by. Did you stop? He's singing it in his head, you know it?
Mm-hmm.
No, I have no idea what the song is. I wasn't much into listening
It's
to
Red Point
rap.
Baby.
You could do music reviews.
Who, me do music reviews?
Mm-hmm.
Most of them be, ugh, this shit sucks.
Don't want to drive away your core audience.
This is going to be one of those chests that goes down in infamy.
No, we haven't gotten anywhere near as bad as the Japanese food episode yet.
I may not go down in infamy, but I'll go down on your little sister.
easy heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Seven Wonders. Ooh, Lexi, that's a sexy name. Dude, that's his daughter. What are you doing?
At least he was, blissfully ignorant.
But he has never lived it down.
Well, yeah, you're not going to, but
No.
at least there's a blissful ignorance there.
I forget whose chat it was the other night had somebody talking about their daughter Alexis or something. I'm thinking to myself, thank God Seven Wonders isn't here. Like, that was the first thing that popped in my head.
Probably why the poor fellow doesn't come around anymore.
Probably. Every so often you see him pop up somewhere.
He's kind of like Midnight Range.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's imaginary.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Kind of
God.
like dinosaurs.
Justin's bringing up the Subaru Brat. Probably the least fun back seat in a vehicle. Especially in the winter. If you're somewhere where it doesn't get cold like California or something, the Brat may not have been so bad. But if you're somewhere like Minnesota, the Northeast, the Dakotas, Montana, where it does what's called snow, the
You ever
Brat
rode in
was,
the back of a pickup without a seat? Because I certainly have.
It's a great time.
Used to do that all the time with kids.
yes, but the Brat just wasn't a very good design. The seats faced out backwards, and there was no wall there. So if you were riding in a Brat in the winter, it wasn't very fun.
I feel like you probably just weren't riding in a Brat in the winter. So I feel like you probably just weren't doing that in the winter. You
Well,
ever ridden a motorcycle in the winter?
I knew somebody that had one of those, and that was the only car they had. So, like I said, if you're somewhere like California where then it get cold, the Subaru Brat was probably not so bad. But you live somewhere where it gets colder, yeah, probably not the best vehicle.
You don't have to ride in the back. There is a second seat on the inside.
Not if you're carrying more than two people.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah. Make them ride in the back.
Are they can ride and be cold, or they can walk and be cold?
Or they could go skiing.
It was always funny watching a ski movie and somebody drives up in one of those with like 5 people in the car, and the thing is like, really?
Unless the extras are chicks, in which case you get all the guys in the car and then just put the chicks on the guys' laps.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful, though.
What?
If they have long hair, you can end up. I've inhaled hair before.
Oh my
Somebody
god,
sitting on my lap.
that's awful.
You're talking head hair, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. one truck channel I watched, they had a retro review of the Subaru Brat, and the guy went to sit in the back seat just to see how the ride was in the back seat of one of them. And as he's getting into the back seat, he puts on the seatbelt, and the seatbelt just disintegrated as he's putting the seatbelt on. It was all kind of like dry rotted and shit.
Seatbelt isn't going to do you a whole lot of good anyway. You're going the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're going in reverse and you hit really quick, really, really fast, and you hit something, then you go flying at the bed of the truck.
Or you hit black ice, spin around 180 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and then slam into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just get flung out while you're spinning, go into a donut, and next thing you know, you're being flung out the back. Like, ah!
Or you roll over.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've established that Rich White loves Chinesium shit, hates America, loves the Brits, and is apparently a gay guy because he likes the Subaru Brat.
That ain't what I said.
I heard all that tonight. How about you
Is
guys?
he on Birkenstocks too, or
Wouldn't doubt it.
No. I think most of the people I know that have ever had a Subaru were all women.
Well, yeah, it's because you're gay. And
it's
they're like,
usually
you
a
can be our best friend.
prerequisite? That's a prerequisite to being a lesbian. I think.
Prerequisites being a lesbian's owning a Subaru. I thought that was owning a U-Haul.
Like U-Haul.
Yeah.
Haven't heard that one.
Abigail's told all kinds of jokes about lesbians and U-Hauls. What are you talking about?
You talking on Abigail now?
She's done it in your chat.
Holy shit, Gary.
Wow. Strong words there.
Oh, yeah. See, Gary doesn't pay attention to his YouTube chat.
I have more than 500 subs.
You cheated. You went to SHOT Show.
Five times.
Mm-hmm. Right now, with the shit we have to have fixed on the house because of the flood last week, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to goals. We got to fucking put in a new hot water heater and a bunch of other shit.
No homeowners insurance?
No
homeowners insurance? Or no flood coverage?
No flood coverage because we were told we didn't need it because we weren't in the flood zone.
Which then they'll be like, you're in a flood zone, we're not giving you flood coverage.
Mm-hmm. We were told by the realtor we didn't need it, the bank we didn't need it when we got the mortgage, and the insurance company because we weren't in the flood zone, according to FEMA. I looked it up this week because I was getting pissed. I was like, There are times we're not in the flood zone yet. We flood. And what do I find? The state has revised the flood zone where we're in the cautionary area.
Well, of course
You
they
got
did
the-
now.
Yeah, you got the red. Well, I did back then, and back then we weren't in the floodplain according to FEMA and the state of West Virginia. Now we're in the yellow part, which is the cautionary. When you got the red, which is the actual floodplain itself, according to the state of West Virginia, and according to FEMA, the house next door, which this is a duplex. The house right next door to us that's attached to this house is in the floodplain, and we're not, according to FEMA. Which left me scratching my head. How can two houses that are attached to each other, one be in the floodplain and one not?
Well, if yours is upstairs,
No, it's side by side.
True.
you asked. I gave a question. Or I gave an answer.
Yeah, and then that's why I clarified. Now we're side by side.
It's kind of like the Mason-Dixon line. There's got to be a line somewhere.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is he still thinks he was right.
Be careful, he might be out there.
Yeah, so what? I don't mess with people. I don't care. I have no cares to give anymore. Actually, I don't know if I ever did. Probably why I never get invites to his show anyway.
I never got it, so.
I don't know when the last time I got an invite to Hillbillies. Other than his members only chat.
Do you get invites to Foss's?
I have occasionally.
You don't show up there, though, you prick.
It's because it's 2 o'clock in the freaking morning, and most of the time
You were up last night.
I was going to
because I couldn't
say.
sleep, and that was at the very end anyway.
So what?
I didn't have an invite.
It's you need to join the Discord.
I would say he hasn't sent out invites in like 2 years now.
Yeah, you think you're friggin' special? I need an invite. I'm not just gonna show up. Because I'm a pussy.
I didn't know he was putting them on Discord.
He announces it every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Way to support us.
Again,
comes
his
on
show
here
is
each
on
week.
at 2 a.m., dude.
Comes on here each week. Make
Yeah,
sure that
every-
your show is not a shit show.
Mm.
Tells people about your shows all the time. He's like, you need to go check out Rich White. He does an amazing job. Get him to 500 subs. He's putting all this work for you, and you're like, fuck fuss. I'm
You
not
know,
watching his show.
You can always
If I
watch
had-
replay.
If I had feelings, they'd be hurt.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, that sounds sincere.
I was completely sincere.
That was
Probably
forced
not.
to me.
Sounds like what a super driver would sound like.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I told my wife one time when we're driving, there's a little Subaru zipping through traffic. Told her there's a name for Subaru drivers. It starts with A and ends in hole. And then she reminded me, you used to have a Subaru.
Subaru drivers are the kind of people that usually go and try blowing up fertility clinics. Current company excluded, of course.
Specific?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a reference to something that happened in California a day or two ago.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, Palm Springs, some nutcase tried blowing up a fertility clinic with a car bomb.
Was it Danny, California?
No, it was Palm Springs.
Oh.
Red Hot Chili Peppers were not involved.
Could we get them involved?
Oh, be quiet, you stupid cat. So what did you say? Barbecue, sorry.
So could we get them involved?
Mm-hmm. This idiot thought that...
That's pretty much under the bridge now.
But this weirdo, because you guys weren't here when me and Foss were talking about it, he decided that he's against births that aren't by consent. In other words, that babies have to give their consent to be born, according to that weirdo.
Well, he should start with his own birth.
Oh, he did.
Well, that was part of it.
Mhm.
He felt that pain, existence is pain, so you should try to end yourself as soon as possible.
Which he did because he killed himself. It was a suicide car bombing.
You can't say that on YouTube.
Yep, you're fucked.
Oh, well.
Seriously. Take your stream down, dude. Oh, shit.
Well, hell, we read it directly from the news article. And it was the FBI saying it. They said that it was an act of terror.
Rich isn't afraid. He dares them to give him a channel strike.
Yeah, I've had them before.
He's telling YouTube they're a bunch of pussies. I really hope somebody does not do the shot challenge. That'd be a bad idea.
Your Brooke can't stream for 30 seconds without getting taken down. This guy's throwing out forbidden terms left and right, and he's still on. That ain't fair. It's discrimination. 100%.
Are you saying it's because she's a woman?
Is she? I didn't notice.
Yeah. Oh,
Didn't assign her a gender.
I haven't met very many guys named Brooke. Most of the people,
Garth Brooks?
all of the people. That's Brooks, not Brooke. As a first name. Or maybe they think she's related to Dick Cheney. I don't know.
Now he's talking about Dick. What the fuck is going on with this episode?
Now, I've met Brooke, and I thought she was a really nice lady.
Mm-hmm.
You're Rich talking smack on her, man.
No, I'm not. I'm talking smack on YouTube. They're so stupid they think she's related to Dick Cheney, so they give her a hard time.
Oh, mini Wayne's out there.
Bonsai!
Here's my nephew.
Well, he said I'm his uncle too. Now, so nephew Mini.
He's up awful late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shouldn't little boys be asleep?
It should be.
Yeah.
Sounds really
Because
creepy.
he's out there in the shed all by himself. They probably
Mm-hmm.
left the computer on out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Lagoon. I remember that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Actually saw that in the theater.
When that first hit cable, my parents watched it constantly. It's like, dude, seriously, we're watching this shit again? I was just a little kid at that point. It's like, he says he's doing laps around the studio with his scissors. So you're doing it wrong, Minnie. You should be doing laps around it with your rifle. Of course, if Misty walked into the studio, she'd probably be completely and totally freaked out by Minnie Wayne running around with scissors.
Misty ain't gonna go out in that studio in the dark.
I don't blame her.
Justin was in the same train of thought as me. If Minnie rockin', Misty definitely won't come knocking.
Wow. Can't believe y'all talking about Misty that way.
Oh, come on, it's therapy. The therapy would work better if she was out there in the chat.
How do you know she's not?
Well, she hasn't said anything. Usually she would have said hi.
She's probably crying from all the mean things you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Maybe that's why you're not wanting to go to Goals, because you know Misty's gonna be there.
Amy's talking about getting a loan from her retirement to pay for some of the stuff around the house and for the goals trip. So she's going to take out $12,000 from her retirement plan.
There's Romway.
Yeah, says he knows how to keep his stuff secure. Keep it with Minnie. Have Minnie guard it with his scissors.
Yep. Smart man.
But then how does Misty get his blue knives?
Out of the mail.
Well, he needs to have Minnie guard the mail then.
Phone's probably not home when the mail comes.
Hey, you got to have Minnie guard the mailbox. Or the P.O. box. So you need another 2 Mini Waynes. One to guard your P.O. box and one to guard your mailbox. Then Misty can't get your mail. She can't steal your knives anymore. And knowing her, she just used that puppy of hers to scare Mini Wayne. Maybe just put a likeness of Mini Wayne, you know, instead of a scarecrow with a scare Misty. Justin says, pay the mail lady to put Minnie in the P.O. box. She opens the P.O. box, and there's Mini Wayne staring at her. Ah! She would let out one hell of a scream, I guarantee it. Did you guys see Ron Wayne's striker fired Luger 22? At least I think it's striker fired. Could be internal hammer.
I saw some of it. I didn't watch all of it.
Looks like a cool little pistol.
I'm not into Lugers.
Well, that's okay because it's not really a Luger, it's a Stoger. It's decorated to look like a Luger. It does have a working toggle lock system, it looks like, though, which is interesting on a 22. Unless it's just decorative and it's just a straight blowback. But it looked like the toggle lock was actually working.
Well, I didn't realize it was a 22 at first, and I was watching it. It's like, well, that's only moving halfway. Why is it only moving halfway? And then I heard him say it's a 22. Oh, okay.
G-Web said it's like 1/3 the size of a real one. But it did seem plenty accurate in his video.
Well, Mr. Wayne, in general, seems to be a fairly good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything he shoots is fairly accurate.
Well, you can be an accurate shooter and still have a bad gun that's not accurate.
Well, he's making it accurate.
He says it's a fun range plinker. Yeah, it looks like one. You'd probably use it for like squirrel hunting or something too, as accurate as it was. Or if you got a walnut tree with a pesky squirrel that likes throwing walnuts at people instead of using an SKS.
You got squirrels using an SKS?
No, I shot one with an SKS because it was throwing walnuts at me. I got fed up. Like, boom! Fuck you, squirrel.
God, everything's coming from China now. We got Chinese squirrels over here.
Well, China weren't the only ones to use SKSs. They could be Soviet squirrels. Or Yugoslavian or Romanian. I'm trying to remember what some. Damn it! What the hell? There was another one too, and I can't remember what country it was now.
I
It was
don't
one of
think we're
those.
I don't think we're getting too many Yugoslavian immigrants anymore.
No, there's all kinds of Yugoslavian SKSs available. One of the A countries over in Europe made them too. I can't remember which one it was.
Albania?
Yeah, I think that's it. Theirs is weird looking because they did the stock differently. And the handguard, it's longer. The Yugo ones are cool because they come with grenade launchers and grenade launcher sights on them. Which the grenade launcher also acts as a compensator on the end of the barrel. So it's kind of cool, the Yugos. And they have a modified bayonet too to facilitate the muzzle brake / grenade launcher. Usually in SKS, you pull the bayonet and unfold it, and it slides over the tip of the barrel. There's a ring there, and it rests against the front sight. Because of the muzzle brake and grenade launcher attachment that's on the Yugo, they couldn't do it that way. So they made it where it's got a tab on the bayonet that goes into a slot on the bottom of the muzzle device. And that's how the Yugo one the bayonet locks into place. Now, Ron's asking, did Yugo cars have 12-inch or 13-inch rims? I don't know. Could have been
I
11.
don't know. They never ran long enough to put a new set
Yeah.
of tires on one. So.
Or was it wheelbarrow tires? Justin's asking if anyone loads Mills or 30-06. I do not. I don't have a reloading setup.
Us is the only
plan
reloader
to.
here.
I haven't done 30-06 yet. I've got the dies and picked up powder just for that, but I haven't done it yet. I think it's because I don't have any brass to reload. All the brass I had, I gave to Squib just before I picked up some dies.
Oh, whatever you do, don't use that shit that Jacob has. Lord. That stuff was not good. The very first round he shot of it, the damn case broke. For those of you who didn't see, that was on the members chat, wasn't it, Gary, where Jacob was asking us about that? Oh, Gary might not be at his computer right now. He muted.
Yes, it was a members only chat.
Okay. I can remember if that was on Monday or Wednesday. It's been a
Yeah,
hell
it
of a
was.
week.
Sorry, I snuck in the kitchen to get a drink. I had my AirPods in, but unfortunately, I wasn't anywhere near the mute switch.
Justin says he's looking for some casings with DM head stamp. He said he'll ask in Jamie's chat. Georgia shooting connection, if anybody's wondering. And Ron's going to look into it too, he said. What else? What else can we talk about? Chinese flashlights? Got a couple of them.
Because Rick
Global
Wright
world
hates America.
domination.
I don't know if there is an American-made flashlight anymore. Maglight's still made in the U.S.
With imported LEDs. I don't think those are made anywhere in the U.S.
Well, somebody's got to make them because the U.S. Army's green bent neck flashlight is made in the U.S. and it's got LEDs in it now. And military equipment has to be made in the U.S.
What flashlight is this?
Huh?
What flashlight is this?
The green Army issue. The ones that have the where it's rotate the neck. It's got the bent neck at the top. It almost looks like an L if you turn it upside down.
It's the old Boy Scout flashlights.
Boy
That's where
Scouts
they
did
came
them
from.
too. I don't
What
remember Boy Scouts.
the Army got them from, the idea for them from the Boy Scouts.
I don't remember those when I was in the Scouts. Nobody ever had one. We all just had like off the shelf store flashlights. Justin says he has some 50 BMG, but looking for some 30-06 DM. Is the Des Moines Ordnance Plant. His grandfather used to work there during World War II, and he also has some of the ammo cans with that marking on it.
Des Moines. You don't pronounce the S. And
Did
like
I?
Illinois.
So Des
Did I?
Moines,
Des Moines.
that is cool though.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Trying to figure out what flashlight's being issued now.
Technically, it's not issued. You got to buy the damn thing. They made us buy them when went into basic.
Glock 30 Gen 5.
Which one's the 30? That's one of the small ones, isn't it? Like 26, 27 size.
It's a 45.
Yeah, I think it's the 45 version of like the 26, 27. If I'm remembering it right, anyway. Now I gotta look.
I'm trying to find a military issue flashlight that's got an LED in it. Haven't found any so far. There's one.
The Glock 30 looks like it's between Glock 19 and Glock 26 size. It's got a 3.789 inch barrel.
Oh, damn, I can't compete with that.
No, could be worse. It could be Muhammad, who, according to one person who factored what Muhammad's barrel size would be, and it was only 1.8 inches. Otherwise, he would have damaged Aisha. And Islamic sources say she was fine. He had to have had a 1.8 inch penis.
Jesus.
The best part is it was on a Christian channel that I heard that. I about lost it. When they said that, it was like, oh my God. But yeah, Glock 30 is like a 26, 27 version of the 45. But it's a little bit bigger because 45 is a little stouter than 9 or 40 when it comes to pressures and stuff. So the frame's a little bit bigger. Slide's a little bit bigger. It's got a little longer barrel. But it's got the short, stubby grip like the 26 and 27 do. I guess I could share some pictures and show people's.
I'm gonna jump out.
Okay.
See ya, boss.
Thanks
See
for
ya.
jumping on. You got anything you want to plug before you go?
The 2A is Blind channel. Head over there, check it out, subscribe. It's an awesome channel that's getting ready to do big things. Big things.
Real big things. Hopefully soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Have a good night.
Yep. Good
All
night.
right.
Yeah, you can see here, like I said, it's kind of like the 45 version of a 26 or 27. It's got that short, stubby grip. Though I can only find mentions of a Gen 4. I didn't even see a Gen 5 when I was looking. So Gen 5 doesn't have the finger grooves, right?
Right.
That's essentially what Ron's talking about for anybody like you didn't know what the Glock 30 was. Ron said small EDC. The 10 millimeters, what, 28 or 29? Justin saying go 10 millimeter. .45 ACP or 10 millimeter, which will be cheaper to feed it. I haven't priced either round lately, so. Mainly because I don't have anything that shoots either of them.
You don't have a 1911?
Not currently.
Pussy.
I know a guy that's got probably over a dozen of them.
Mm-hmm.
I wish. Not quite. Close.
You got a whole box full of them.
Got a baker's dozen.
Oh, 13.
No, I'm joking. I don't have a baker's dozen. Just figured that'd be kind of amusing to say.
Mm.
Watch, there's probably like some like teenagers that watch Chris's show because they've got terrible parents, and now they're like, Baker's dozen, what the fuck is that?
Mm.
I think they probably named that after Baker Mayfield because that's how many touchdown passes he'll have in the course of a season.
Career. Yeah. Ron says he'd go 10 millimeter, but he has plenty of 45 reloading components. 10 millimeter, he doesn't have anything. Sad, isn't it? Well, doesn't 10 millimeter uses the same loading gear as a 40, doesn't it?
No.
No? Because 40 used the same thing because it's the same caliber.
Oh, as a 40?
Yeah.
It might.
Yeah, not 45. I know it doesn't use this because 45's bigger around.
And the case length is going to be different.
G-Web says he just put a bid on a 2009 Honda ST 1300 ABS. And Justin says if he ever wins the lotto, he's buying a Bren 10. He's going full Miami Vice. Says he loved that gun growing up.
I want one just because it's the granddaddy of all the 10 millimeters. The only reason I want it.
Well, Don Johnson didn't think it was the most fun gun to shoot.
Because he's a pussy.
And he's not the only person I've heard say it.
Yeah, the FBI. Pussies. I'm so on a list now.
Mm-hmm.
I already was.
G-Web says the bike he put the bid on looks like a state police bike. Yeah, it depends on which state you're in, I guess.
He's in Arizona.
I know that. But not all state police bikes look like Japanese bikes. You know, California, they were using Yamahas, I think, weren't they? And, but
During the era that Chip season was on, they were on Kawasaki's.
Kawasaki's, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. I knew they had one of the Japanese bikes. I just couldn't remember which one.
Kawasaki.
Yeah. Pennsylvania and West Virginia, biker cops used Harley Davidsons.
Yep.
City of Pittsburgh had Harley Davidsons. They had some old ones too. they were old bikes that Pittsburgh had. They kept good care of them. Don't hardly see any motorcycle cops anymore. At least around here. Don't see any.
I know. I don't know. Might have been before I lost my vision, or shortly after. Maybe, a couple years before and a couple years after. But we had a motorcycle cup for the state police up here. I don't know why. Because, really, he only got to ride, maybe half the year. But for some reason, we just randomly had a motorcycle cup.
I know in Pittsburgh, the city traffic cops that were on bikes, they would operate all year. Yeah.
So you guys get no friggin' snow. When you do, they want to shut down the damn city. So then you don't need the motorcycle cops out anyways, because they're like, oh, nothing going on here.
Yeah, I wish that were the case. G-Web says you need bikes to chase bikes. Yeah, you would think that. Around here, they chase them on with the damn cars and SUVs.
So I know that there's a fun law in Ohio. I don't know if it stands true in Pennsylvania or not. I heard it does, but I do know it stands true in Ohio because I had a buddy that was told by the pursuing officer afterwards. So in Ohio, if you're on a motorcycle and you're doing in excess of 100 miles per hour, they cannot initiate chase. But my buddy was doing 97. And he's just like, frick. And he tried to evade. And eventually he's like, fuck, this cop's sticking with me. And I guess the cop was like, oh, he's on a friggin' Harley Bagger. So I guess the cop was rather impressed with how well he rode.
Yeah.
and he gave him a hell of a ticket, but didn't hook and book him or anything. Just like, good God. And then he went to court to fight the ticket because he had an attorney that was like, oh yeah, we're gonna fight this. And that's when they found out, like, oh yeah, if you would have been 3 miles an hour faster, we could not have initiated the pursuit. Like, no shit. And like I said, I've heard a similar thing for PA, but I don't know if that stands 100% true or not. And for all I know, the Ohio law could have changed too. But now I have talked to state police officers here that have said, they've watched bikes go past at 100, 110, and they're like, nope, not moving. And I had a buddy ask me one time, he's like, why not? He's like, the fuck am I going to do? They just passed me at 110. By the time I get out and then get up to speed, he's like, they're fucking long gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, not only that, but half the time when they realize they just passed you and they check that mirror to see if you're pulling out, they drop another gear. And again, by the time I'm getting up to speed, they're hitting a $140.
Yeah, it's like I think it was last summer. We were coming back from Hagerstown, Maryland on 68, and this guy Harley just goes flying by everybody. And next, about a minute later, you hear the sirens on the Maryland State Police that are chasing the guy. So dude was flying. He was definitely going over 100.
Best pursuit I ever got to see while I was driving truck. Well, actually, right when I first started driving truck, I was over in Derry, PA, and I was unloading at Dollar Tree because I was on the Dollar Tree account at the time, and I hear these sirens coming. I mean, it's like 3 in the friggin' morning, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I walk to the end of the trailer and poke my head out, and soon it goes this car down friggin' Main Street, past everything at 3 in the morning. Then, a couple seconds later, there goes like 5 cop cars behind him. I was like, oh, nice. Now, the best one I saw, I was traveling north on Ohio 7, and I was getting up towards I-90, and I see this Dodge Magnum just hauling ass south on Ohio 7. I was like, man, that guy was moving. And it was like 30 seconds later. Now, mind you, I'm traveling opposite way of this guy. And it was like 30 seconds later, there's like 8 or 9 cop cars that are just trying to haul as much ass as that guy, well, all with lights going. I was like, oh, you guys aren't catching him. Unless he wrecks, like, he's got you guys gapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you better have a fucking chopper in the sky here soon.
Back in March, I think it was March, maybe it was late February, we're coming down 220 from Cumberland, and all of a sudden these 2 kids on racer racing bikes go flying past everybody. Next thing you hear is the helicopter chasing them. I think Maryland sent out the state police helicopter, medvac helicopter, to chase these kids on their bikes so that they could follow them. And
yeah,
they went over the border, Maryland and West Virginia, and that chopper kept going after them. I think they were probably radioing ahead somewhere to let a roadblock or something, though, because these kids were definitely being chased. They were not giving up that pursuit. If you got the helicopter flying to follow somebody, they don't want them to get away.
And now that I'm thinking about it again, it wasn't 30 seconds, probably more like 10 seconds, though, which when you figure I was heading up the interstate or not interstate, it's Ohio 7, but it's 4-lane divided highway like interstate.
Mhm.
And I was traveling at 60 mile an hour, and it still took probably a solid 10 seconds for the cops to appear.
Yeah.
Like I said, that guy has some fucking space.
Yeah. Well, it's like the guy that I was talking about on 68. The cops are chasing him in cars. This guy's just weaving in and out between cars, you know?
Yep.
They're getting,
Well,
the cops are getting slowed down by the traffic that's in front of them. This guy's not.
well, this guy was in a Dodge Magnum. I tell you all the time, Dodge Magnums are no friggin' joke. Those cars will shit
No.
and get.
Uh-huh. One of the coolest station wagons ever made.
Yep.
Basically like a Dodge Viper station wagon.
And with how low they sit and everything, and how heavy they just hug the friggin' road.
Mhm.
It's
All right, Ron. Have a good night. Ron Wayne's heading out.
see you, Ron.
Says he's got to catch some Z's.
He's probably worried that we're going to start giving Mini Wayne some ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mini Wayne on a motorcycle. Would Mini Wayne wouldn't fit on one of those Evel Knievel stunt bikes, would he? That would be fucking funny. Put him on one of those and crank it and let it run. If you could find one. You know, do you even know what I'm talking about, barbecue?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Gary probably does, but again, he snuck away again.
He does
I
that.
didn't sneak away. I'm right here.
He's got old man bladder.
Mm-hmm. I was talking about getting one of those Evel Knievel bikes and putting Mini Wayne on it. You know, the ones where you had to crank them to get them revved up, and then you hit the button and they took off.
Oh, you'd be too big for that.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but it'd be funny if there was one big enough.
Mini Wayne's bigger than he looks.
Could always get a remote control ATV for him. A 4-wheeler. Put him on that. If his legs would bend enough. I don't know how far his legs bend. You know, how articulated he is. Clearly, you can tell by looking at him, he's not like the G.I. Joe action figures and stuff. The little ones, which had like a bazillion points of articulation. Radio control 4-wheeler would probably be a better idea anyway. Be more stable.
Yeah, but it's not nearly as cool.
You don't think Mini Wayne riding around on a 4-wheeler wouldn't be cool?
Not as cool as a dirt bike or a motorcycle.
Yeah, but then you have to worry about it falling over and Mini Wayne getting damaged.
Oh, with the gyros they put on remote control motorcycles and dirt bikes now, it'd be all right. And so what? He gets a little bit of road rash. I feel like Mini Wayne is not a pussy. I wonder how many more times we can say that tonight.
get Minuin a remote control full dress Harley. Or an Indian.
Can't call them that now. They're Native Americans.
The motorcycle company is still Indian.
Welcome to Politically Incorrect with Rich Boy.
Political correctness is for commies.
The show that talks about lady boys and rich love for Muslims.
Ooh, get Minuin a remote control tank. How come when we were kids they didn't have Power Wheels tanks and shit like that? That would have been so cool to ride down the street in a tank, even if it was just a toy. The damn things do shoot. They shoot these huge, like styrofoam dart things, like a Nerf thing. It's kind of cool. But no, we didn't have that when I was a kid. All we got was like police motorcycles with training wheels. And not even a motorcycle, they're more of a three-wheeler. And your basic boring ass Jeep. It wasn't even a cool Jeep. It wasn't made to look like a military Jeep or anything. It was just a copy of a Jeep Wrangler, kind of. They didn't go very fast either. I remember a kid down the street had the police motorcycle, which was actually a three-wheel. And he's like, "You want to race?" I'm like, okay. I blew right by the kid on that thing. It's like, Jesus. That thing was slow. I'm not even sure that thing was going 5 miles an hour. Send us a video of what? Oh, the guy on the bike. So Justin said he sent us a video on Instagram.
Uh-oh. Justin, I am out of bacon. Please send me bacon.
Yes. I'm out of that too. Put it on some dry ice, into here. Oh, he didn't send it to mine, so I don't know who he sent it to. Oh, there it is. Wasn't under primary, they put it under general. guess we can watch this video. I don't know. Screw it. Go. Yo, whoa. Dude was freaking moving. Holy shit.
Hold on. I don't know what the hell just happened, but I'm pretty sure your fucking cat is saying actual words.
I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, that's crazy. That cat just, oh yeah, the cat. That bike. Play that again. Watch this. Boom! Like that bike was on a jet engine or some shit. He went plaid. Holy shit. That dude was freaking moving. Guy doing 100 on a cruiser.
That's nothing.
Next thing you know, a Hayabusa comes.
Oh,
It had to have been something like that because that bike was fucking moving. And I was insane. That video that Justin sent. Man.
all right, gentlemen. Fat chicks, I am out of here.
Okay.
I'm not saying
Quitter.
goodbye to. I'm not saying goodbye to the skinny chicks. They get too much attention.
Well, are they like a steel cable?
I don't know.
That chicks are more fun.
If
They'll
it's
work harder to please you.
well, you guys have a great night.
Yep, you too.
You
Catch
too.
you later. Yeah, Justin says when you make 141 miles per hour look like you're stopped, that's crazy. Even if it was kilometers an hour, 141 kilometers an hour, that made it look like it was standing still. 141 kilometers an hour is what, like 80, 90 miles an hour?
Something like that.
Dang, we've been going for 3.5 hours. And it's after 12:30 in the morning.
It is.
Yeah. Probably should call it quits for the night. So, anything you want to plug?
Not really. I mean, got a show tomorrow night.
You
If
you
y'all
got
want to go by and check it out, 9:00 p.m. Central.
you got 2 channels. What do you got coming up on the music channel?
New video tomorrow at noon Central.
What one are you doing this time?
It's a request from Abby Finnegan.
Sabaton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Panzer Battalion.
Yeah, she asked me if I thought that one was tame enough band. I was like,
It's
might be.
it's tame.
Yeah.
I actually liked it.
Cool. So, yeah. And Justin says, good night, sir. So, yeah. Be sure to check out Gary's video tomorrow and then show tomorrow night. Who knows? You might win something,
Might.
but not zipper pulls.
That's true.
Because Gary hasn't written IWI to ask for more.
Well, Jacob's got them all.
Jacob's got to have something for all the zippers on his Michael Jackson jacket. And,
I guess.
yeah. I don't know. Does he even have a Michael Jackson jacket?
I have no idea. He's not really old enough to have anything like that. He don't even know who Michael Jackson was.
He might be into retro shit. You don't know. But a Garen, he might be into retro shit.
Most Garand owners aren't into Michael Jackson, strangely enough.
I'm sure you can find one somewhere. You know, Thriller album really wasn't that bad.
It's alright.
Man, I remember the first time I saw the Thriller video. It was in a department store. They had one of those old big screen projection TVs set up in the front of the store. And the video came on while my grandmother and I are checking out. This was back at when Zares were still around. Uh-oh. Something went wrong.
I suppose it's a good video if you like choreographed dancing. That's about most of what's going on.
The long version was a mini horror movie. It had Vincent Price in it and shit.
Yes.
And that's what it was. That's what came on that big screen TV was the long version. And I'm standing there watching this. My grandmother's like, "We gotta leave." I'm like, I'm watching this. You know, back in what was that? 84, 83, 84.
It was after that.
No, because Bad was around
Yeah, it was.
788.
Because we had MTV when it debuted, and we didn't even have MTV until 86.
Now I'm gonna have to look this up.
That can't be right.
82.
What I'm looking at says 83.
Well, they're saying the album itself was released in 82.
I'm talking about the video.
Yeah.
It says December 2nd, 1983. That don't sound right. 83.
Well, if the album came out in 82, Thriller wasn't the first single released.
Yes, I know. That is not right.
Yeah, no. According to Wikipedia, the song as a single wasn't released in the U.S. until January 23rd of 84. And the video would have been right after that. So, yeah, 84.
December the 2nd, 83. That is just wrong.
No, because again, according to Wikipedia, it was released on November 11th, 83 in the United Kingdom and January 23rd, 84 in the U.S.
I could have swore. That'd been before Adam was born. A year and a half before Adam was born. Wow. Boy, my memory's shit then.
There's a video somebody's got on Facebook from '83, which is a rehearsal for the Thriller video.
Man, I know I watched that debut on MTV, but we didn't have MTV then.
Maybe you're at a friend's house or something. I don't know.
Well, we didn't have it on our cable system.
No. I don't know. Maybe did you watch it on Friday night videos or something?
No. When I was married to Angie, she practically had it on MTV constantly. Oh, what do I know?
Yeah, the album version of the song is 5 minutes and 57 seconds. They edited it down to 5:13 in the 2003 remaster. And radio edits were 4:37 or 4:05. Which isn't surprising because that era you were still hitting on pop channels or top 40 channels to where a song over 5 minutes just wasn't going to get airplay. And everything I'm finding saying the video was only 14 minutes. I could have swore it was longer than that.
It sounds about right.
Now, Google's AI is calling Thriller disco funk Halloween music. Disco was dead by that point.
If it had come out in that era, it probably would have fit the genre. But no, it was pop.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because they retconned what the hell pop is. Pop just stood for popular music. That's all it was. Somehow it became its own separate genre. Anything could be on the pop charts. Christ, what was it, a year and a half ago? Master of Puppets made it to the top of the pop charts because of Stranger Things. I don't even think the song charted when it first came out because it's too long. They weren't going to put that on the
No,
pop
it
chart.
was never a radio hit.
No.
It does make it on the classic rock stations now because they don't really care about song length.
No, we had WDVE in Pittsburgh played it back in the day when it came out. But they played all that kind of stuff. They played anything that was rock, including heavy metal stuff. So as long as it was radio friendly anyway, lyrically. Now 97 rock, when they were around, they were around 91 to 93. They got in trouble because they didn't give a shit what the lyrics were. They would play it anyway. Like Mr. Brownstone, they played that uncensored.
I don't remember him ever censoring Hair of the Dog.
Mm-mm.
But they'd censor stupid things like Big Jet Airliner.
Yeah. I don't think they ever censored Who Are You either.
No, not a lot of people caught that.
No. I remember listening to an oldies channel on that came on and they didn't censor it. Like, okay. Yeah, it's a song that I would not have expected that channel to play, let alone play it uncensored in that spot.
There was the Puddle of Mud song, She Hates Me. It got censored
Oh
all
yeah.
to hell.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like every chorus, there's a certain word that gets said multiple times. Yeah. It's like I heard a radio edit of Guns N' Roses, You're Crazy. It's like, why bother? Every line's getting censored.
There's that one song that Dan's played for me one time. It's called Taste Your You Know What.
Mm,
Or Smell. Yeah, I want to
mm,
smell your dick, basically.
mm.
Like, wow. But you can make a song about whatever you wanted to. I don't
Oh, yeah.
think Jagged Little Pill, it did get bleeped a little bit. Or You Ought to Know is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's got a couple of, well, only one thing is actually an expletive, and another one that really is a kind of a sexual reference.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a
Damn good
channel,
song though.
there's a radio station around here that plays Rob Zombie's Pussy Liquor on it. I had to explain to my wife exactly what the reference was because it went over her head. Because liquor is spelt like a bottle of liquor. Sometimes she can be very naive. And when she finally figures out something, boy, does her face get red. Like the Who's Squeeze Box. Her, myself, and our son were coming home from Oakland, Maryland. I think we went to like Lowe's or something over there. And Squeezebox comes on, and somehow we got around to talking about what the song's about, and boy did her face get red. She's like, no, that's not what this is about. I'm like, yes it is.
Pretty obvious what it's about.
Yeah, once you actually sit down and pay attention, yeah. She's like, I thought it was just talking about a musical instrument. That's why they were keeping the neighborhood up. Like, no. She's like, oh my God, how many songs are like this out there? I was like, I'm not even going to answer that question.
There's a few.
Yeah. No, I'd say there's more than a few. Jesus. At least she caught on right away to what Nickelback's Something in Your Mouth was about. Because as soon as that came on the radio, she changed it real fast. Because the kids were in the back seat.
Has she ever heard Lola by the Kinks?
Oh, yeah, she knows all about Lola.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you can't figure out what Lola's about, you got problems.
Also, that's a true story, too.
Mm-hmm. Happened with their manager or something, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They made the song as a joke to mess with him. Of course, they're not the only ones that covered that subject matter in that time period either. The Beatles did too. That's what the one verse in Get Back is about.
There's also a couple renditions of the chorus of Baby You're a Rich Man that may or may not contain anti-Semitic references. Where it's repeating over and over, baby, you're a rich man, baby, you're a rich man, baby, you're a rich man too. At least one of them, it doesn't seem like that's what he said at the end.
Now to think about it, you got Lou Reed's The Wild Side too.
Oh, yeah. That stuff is way ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I don't know if you'd get by with that chorus today either.
And the Keller Girls say.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, I knew exactly where you were going with that. Yeah, there's a lot of things in that song you probably want to get away with today. I mean,
Yeah, I was younger. I never paid much attention to the words on there. I got a little bit older and started listening to it. It's like, what the hell?
Yep. It's some crazy songs back in the day. Still are today. But back then, they disguised it better. Today, they just come right out and say shit. Back then, they had to hide what they were saying.
I'm
But
saying
if you
get
paid attention,
it by the record label.
if you actually paid attention, you did pick up on what they were saying. And the worst part is the songs that we just were talking about were all played on the radio. It wasn't like they were a deep cut on an album or something. Nope, these were all radio plays, all determined to be radio friendly. Anyway, I think we were trying to wrap the show up, and somehow we ended up talking about songs instead.
Mm-hmm.
You got a taste of After Chat, folks. So, anyway, we'll catch y'all tomorrow night on Gizzard.
Yep. Oh. Are we still here?
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. I closed the YouTube chat window and Chrome crashed. And then I had to refresh the page because it wasn't wanting to load in my microphone. So,
I'm still showing we're going.
yeah, because I haven't hit end.
Oh.
I closed the YouTube chat window because it popped out, and then I was going to hit end stream, and the damn thing crashed on me. I didn't get a chance to.
I was wondering if my AirPods died for a second. It's like I can't hear Rich no more.
No.
I was looking at the counter in here, and it's like it's still going.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was trying to say goodnight, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow night on Gizzard Show.
Night.
Night.